Did you know, Mark, your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value.
That's right. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight into your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards.
A Bitcoin bonus. That is what I need in my life. So I guess I have to visit Gemini.com/card today. If you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
Issued by WebBank. To qualify for the $200 crypto intro bonus, you must spend $3,000 in your first 90 days. Some exclusions to instant rewards apply. This is not investment advice, and trading crypto involves risk. Check Gemini's website for more details on rates and fees.
You know, Mark, you know how some people have a going out wardrobe? Mine is mostly activewear. That's true. I work out in it. I run errands in it. I travel in it. You name it. And lately it's been all Fabletics.
Yep, me too, Dan. Personally, I started with their high-waisted leggings and a cropped hoodie. And honestly, I didn't expect to love them as much as I do. The leggings don't roll down even during a workout. And the fabric feels way more premium than what I paid for.
Wow, the high-waisted leggings you went with, Mark.
Yeah, yeah.
And the best part, when I signed up as a new VIP, I got 80% off everything, which already felt like a steal. But the quality really surprised me. These pieces feel like, they feel like the kind of high-end activewear that you'd pay $200 for, but at a fraction of the price. And the joggers, they actually keep their shape after a full day of errands or even a long flight. I like wearing the joggers on a long flight. Some people are like, put a suit on. As I calm down, I'm about comfort. It also helps knowing that Fabletics has a community of over 2 million VIP members and more than 100 retail stores.
You are about comfort. It's one of those brands that, once you try it, you get it. The comfort, the fit, the value. Honestly, I didn't realize how much I'd wear Fabletics until I tried it. Now it's basically my everyday gear.
Fabletics already has amazing deals, but right now they're running their biggest sale of the year on top of that. Perfect timing with the holidays. And I've got an exclusive offer just for you, 80% off everything when you sign up as a VIP.
Head to Fabletics.com/HTC and sign up as a VIP to get 80% off everything. That's right. This is only available through our link. So go to Fabletics.com/HTC to sign up as a VIP and get 80% off. That's Fabletics.com/HTC.
Oh, Sessy, the Los Angeles Rams, we think they might be the best team in football, but maybe they should stop losing.
This did not go the way we thought it would tonight.
Yes, we'll check in on the Rams and also the power rankings. Get ready. It's time to heed the call. Hey, welcome to Heed the Call, an NFL podcast. I am Dan Hanzus, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Marc Sessler. There's also Justin Graver on the ones and twos on this cool Monday night, the end of the Monday Night Football regular season schedule. And we're going to get into what happened in the game that was played tonight. We're going to get into what happens because of that game in the NFC playoff picture. We're going to do a little power rankings. We'll get caught up on some news items. You know the drill. It's Monday night, baby. How you doing, Sessy?
I'm doing great. That is the drill. Now we've reached these moments with each passing day in the NFL calendar where things are being taken away from us a little bit. This is kind of our last real Monday Night Football show. And it was not the result that I think we would have predicted.
Don't forget about the super wild card Monday night affair.
I would not forget
2
about
weeks
that.
from tonight, in fact, I believe that is. So we will have another Monday night show in the season. But yes, the curtain came down on the regular season edition of Monday Night Football with a surprising outcome. Let's head to Atlanta. Yes, the Los Angeles Rams were no longer in the hunt for the top seed in the NFC. But still, you figured, coming off a loss that must have really smarted last week, they come out and take care of business against the Falcons, playing out the string. But it felt like the other way around. It felt like there was an identity swap of some time. You know how sometimes people in the dungeon at Sessler Manor will sometimes put on masks and get into their role playing. That's what it felt like, because it was the Falcons who jump out to a 21-0 lead. They can't hold on to that lead. We even got the Arthur Blank shitting his pants sideline shot once it went from 21-0 to 24-24. But the Falcons regroup and led by their brilliant running back Bijan Robinson, who had just a remarkable game. They kick a go-ahead field goal and then get a stand just barely with a little help from the officiating in the final possession for Los Angeles. Final score 27-24. Falcons improved to 7-9, still out of the playoff mix in the NFC, and they'll remain that way, but they can factor in on tiebreakers. We'll get to that. And Mark, for the Rams, they fall to 11-5. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about them as the best team in football. They could still be the team that hoists the trophy in February. I don't rule them out as being one of the very best teams in football, but back-to-back losses here in late December, not really what I expected, and I don't think a lot of us did. No,
it was like uncharacteristic because I think the Rams have been high they've been in our power rankings because they're a very complete team. Like on defense, on offense, and in various ways on special teams. We saw that tonight. But we got the game that's not happened this year. Like Matthew Stafford had thrown 2 interceptions since week 4, and was the clear front-running MVP candidate. That could have changed a little tonight. And then you get the game that we've seen in years past, where Stafford is throwing, he throws a pick 6, he throws a costly second interception, he's making mistakes, and they lose Blake Corum in the middle of this. They're not able to be as ground and pound as they want. And to your point, some calls, I think, went a little against them late when it would have been the characteristic Monday Night Football Rams comeback. Puka Nacua makes what I think is the catch of the year ruled not a catch. Some people would say it's not. I thought it would have been, but I don't know what the rule is on at this point.
It wasn't a catch.
It wasn't, but it was like one of the most incredible athletic things I've seen. There were times when we could get upset about what's
a catch and what's not a catch, but it was honestly on the short list of the greatest catches I've ever seen in terms of what would be a catch, and this is where it does get annoying. It is a catch if you're playing in the backyard with your buddy.
Yes.
Because he reaches out on the sideline. Just so everybody, all right, just to paint the picture here. Last possession, the Rams have less than 30 seconds. They're kind of up Schitt's Creek, but the Falcons seem intent on blowing the game. So on first down, they have a receiver, Smith, flash wide open for the Rams. And I don't know if there was a miscommunication between Stafford or if Smith broke off the route in the wrong way, but he was by himself with an opportunity to take that ball in, Xavier Smith, and instead it falls incomplete. So they miss out on that golden opportunity. And then on second down, Stafford again drops back, heaves it deep down the left sideline. Again, this is going to set them up near the end zone, this time to Tutu Atwell, and he gets his hand grabbed, and he's unable to use two hands to try to catch the ball. The refs missed the call. And
that was D. Alford, and that was clear defensive pass interference.
Yes, although I found it interesting that they missed the call, and then the rules analyst for ESPN, he says, yeah, that should have been a flag. And then as Troy Aikman, of all people, is like, well, in real time, I don't know if it's that easy to say. But it was, I mean, by the letter of the law, a clear PI that was missed. So tough break for the Rams. And then on the next play, Puka Nacua, yes, on the sideline. This was a dart by Stafford that would have been a 30-some-odd yard gain that would have set them up on the fringe of field goal territory. He leans out as he's falling out of bounds. He makes a one-handed, backhanded catch. I have no idea how that guy, and I know he had a weird week last week, and I just wonder what's up with this dude behind the scenes, Puka Nacua, but like he is on the short list of the greatest hands that I've ever seen on a wide receiver. It's a very short list. Like I feel like Chris Carter back in the day was the guy that epitomized great hands. And in this generation, Nacua is that guy. But as he was falling out of bounds, the defender did a great job pulling his hand literally away from the ball briefly. And once he doesn't have that possession, they have to turn it, keep the call as incomplete. So it wasn't a bad call. It was just kind of like, damn, it was such a beautiful effort that you almost wish he deserved to have a catcher, and he didn't. And then once that was incomplete, the game was over. But you're right. Stafford struggled. in moments in this game. He had one pick six. He had 3 interceptions overall. I think Drake May stole MVP this week, quite frankly. He threw 5 touchdowns in 3 quarters against the Jets, and Stafford has a really bad week statistically. I think that's going to be enough to swing the scales. And for the Rams, it's a little bit of a wake-up call these last 2 weeks. I still believe in this team. I think their comeback from 21 down really showed something. Jared Verse, that was one of the most, and we were texting about it, Justin, one of the most functionally perfect plays I've ever seen on special teams. Jared Verse perfectly timing the field goal block, it hitting his hand, spiking straight to the ground, neatly popping up straight into his chest, and then he took it in stride the other way 70 yards and throws up a peace sign to the opposing sideline, a 10-point swing. And Mark, I know at that point it felt like the Rams were going to finish this thing off, but to the credit of Atlanta, they were able to regroup and even though they gave up the tying touchdown, not let this one get away.
No, I know Justin loved that play. I mean, I hate the sports commentator thing where we try to say, well, if I tried to do that, well, of course you're doing what you do because you're not going to do it. But to smash your human body through massive, like, hulking individuals and then leap into the air the way that he did to block that and then take it the distance. Like,
human
Jared
body
Verse
shows great
proclivity
to do great athletic feats.
Well, what do you want me to say? But it was like, that's
body.
when I thought, because I kept telling you.
You don't have to say human body. We know you're talking about it.
Right.
Well, it could be an animal's body. There are animals with bodies. I mean, this was a
not playing professional football, but go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I think in this, I kept telling you guys, and I think I do this sometimes to prepare for what I just assume will happen with every NFL game. Like, the Rams will come back and tie this. We'll go to overtime. Now, it almost came true, but that's when I thought this is going to happen. Like, that was the one thing the Rams needed tonight, and it was a play that sparked them. But you're right, and I think you have to look at like someone like DJ Humphries that wiped out a 36-yard completion to Puka Nacua that would have set up something special. He wiped out a touchdown with two terrible penalties. Like, they were down 2 offensive linemen. They had no Devontae Adams. I think that mattered tonight for the Rams. They couldn't do what they normally wanted to do. They lost Blake Corum at one point. Like, they just weren't set up to operate the way they wanted to on offense.
I guess, yeah. I mean, they were shut out.
But
in the
Falcons
first half.
Also played I want to,
and we'll get to the Falcons.
Yeah.
I just maybe my head is in the sand on this because I'm dug in that I think the Rams are and still can be the best team in football and be the Super Bowl winner. So despite the heartbreaking nature of 38-37 last week against the Seahawks, despite the disappointing nature of 27-24, these are 2 road games, and now they're going to be a wild card. They're either going to be the 5th or 6th seed in the NFC, and they're going to be on the road for 3 games to get to the Super Bowl if they get there, most likely. And you lose 2 tough road games here, but I still feel like the Rams are going to be ready to roll. And I would not be I don't know. I have no idea who they end up facing. We don't know yet in the first round, but I don't want to face the Rams. I don't want the Rams coming into my building in the first round. I think the Rams are going to be okay, but these 2 losses, hyper annoying. I would imagine both losses for different reasons, hyper annoying losses. And on the Falcons side, like, because we don't have to spend too much time on the Falcons because the Falcons are what they are, which is year after year, a underachieving group that flash immense potential. I was thinking about this. They're kind of like your friend that you had. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's an ex. Maybe it's a family member.
Could be all 3
that you have. Has this great potential. Maybe they're like the smartest person or they're the most athletic person and they don't really apply themselves and maximize what is very clear to be special gifts, but then will come through eventually just because they like get in the mood or find spurts of motivation. It's like, shit, if only you were always like that. That's what the Falcons are. The Falcons, there's no reason in that shit pit that is the NFC South that the Falcons with that much talent, with Bijan Robinson, the best player in football, let's be real about this, like pound for pound, once again showing it in this game with 195 yards on the ground, touchdown receiving, a 93-yard touchdown on the ground. There is no way that the Panthers or the damn Bucks should be going to the playoffs this year. But that's the way it is because this team can never put it together. And maybe Raheem Morris ends up keeping his job now because of these wins down the stretch. I don't think it's a good idea, but that's the decision for the guy with the soggy pants on the sideline, Arthur Blank. But I just think they are a frustrating team to watch because you know what their potential is, and they almost feel like pathologically compelled to not live up to their abilities.
They're a reflection of that whole NFC South division too, which is hard to get a grasp on, and we've said that all year. But right, tonight, like the way they played tonight, no one would want to deal with that ground game, and they've had that at times, but it's like every third week. If you're Raheem Morris, your argument is, we've beaten the Rams tonight on an island game. We beat the Bills. Like, we can play with these teams, but then what about the weeks you lose to non-contenders and nobodies? You've got these, there's a string of incredible players on the Falcons. I'd argue that outside of Cleveland, they've got the best rookie class in the league. Like Xavier Watts tonight, 2 interceptions, like Pierce, like all these guys are making a big difference for the Falcons. And it's been 2 years in a row that they've drafted really well. And like they've got the parts, but then they every 2 out of 3 weeks,
I was going to say,
they're a floundering mess.
We say all that, and they're on a 3-game winning streak, and they've won 4 or 5, and they're 7-9 and mathematically eliminated. Right. So that's that game, and that game has, like we said, ramifications on the NFC playoff picture, if we want to throw that up, Justin, because despite the fact that the Falcons can't win what's that?
I think we can get to the playoff picture in a sec. I should point out that I locked an 8.5-point favorite Los Angeles Rams team tonight. And in the first half, I texted you guys, did I lock the Rams by 17? I think I meant to say Falcons by 17 because that's the way it was trending. But just a really brutal miss for me. It's going to hurt me in my hunt to climb out of 4th place. But for now, I remain.
Okay, so you take the, and we'll talk about it on our preview episode. But I think I was the only one that got a win this week.
Yeah,
and that might be the.
Well, then we'll definitely talk about it for quite a while.
Well, no, I track ththese things religiously for the good of the show, Sessler, and I know that we went winless in the last 3 weeks. We've went winless, 1-3, 1-3. Not good enough. That is not good enough. Okay?
2-10 over 3 weeks, not going to get it done. So we all got to look in the mirror and be a little better, I think. Especially
me. You guys. Especially
I've gone. Especially I went
Mark.
0-3.
Well, when we went 1-7 over 2 weeks, the win came from myself, from I. So just to let you know, like I track these things too, but when it's like just to be real about this and factual versus up in the air. But
anyway, you wanted NFC or AFC first? Sorry.
Give me NFC. We've been talking NFC. So that game on Saturday night, Seahawks versus 49ers, it will determine the 1 seed. So whoever wins that not only wins the NFC West, they also clinch a home field advantage and a first-round bye. Massive implications.
Wild. Yeah.
And the loser of that game, so if the Rams win in Week 18, and who do they have in Week 18? The Rams.
They have Arizona, so the
Rams
win.
They'll take care of business against the Cardinals. If the 49ers lose to the Seahawks, the Rams could actually leapfrog the Niners and be the 5th seed in the NFC. The Niners would be the 6th in that situation. The Packers are locked into the 7th. The Panthers/Bucks are locked in at 4 no matter what as the division winner with the worst record. But this is notable because the Falcons won tonight. They could potentially finish with the same record as the Buccaneers and Panthers if the Bucks win. And because of that, even if the Panthers lose to the Bucks on Saturday, the Panthers can win the NFC South still if the Falcons win on Sunday.
That was very cunning by the NFL, which I'm not surprised to use that word, but the Bucks and Panthers, no matter what, will sit in a strange world for at least 24 hours of talk and analysis until that Falcons
unless
game
the
occurs.
Panthers win. If the Panthers win outright, it's already done.
Yeah.
But if and now we're presupposing the Bucs win a game in December, which is laughable. But if the Bucs win, they have to then hope that the Falcons lose to the Saints, and only if that happens would the Bucs play postseason football. So yes, there's things going on still. There's drama. There's not a lot of teams. It's not like it's been in the past where there's multiple teams that have an opportunity to get in from the wild card side. It's just the nature of the NFC beast. Right now, the 49ers, Rams, and Packers as the 3 wild cards is pretty damn good. On the AFC side of things, as we take a look at that. So the Broncos, we're going to get to the Broncos in a second because they caught a major break based on some decision making by their Week 18 opponent. But the Broncos win on Sunday; they clinch the top seed. The Patriots win on Sunday. If they beat the Dolphins and the Broncos lose somehow, it would be the Patriots that take the top seed. Is there a path for the Jaguars to get to the 1?
Yes. If the Broncos and Patriots both lose, then the Jags have to beat the Titans. They can take the 1 seed.
Ah, interesting. Okay, the Steelers.
Isn't this the perfect season for that to occur?
Yeah, of course it is, and I would not be surprised if somehow it ended up happening because this has been a wild NFL season. The Steelers, the AFC North team, is like the equivalent of what's happened in the NFC South, where this is a lesser record. So the winner of Steelers-Ravens Sunday Night Football wins the division, and they're locked in at that 4 seed in the wild card round. And then in the wild card situation, the Texans have clinched, the Chargers have clinched, the Bills have all clinched wild card spots at 11-5. So there's nobody that could sneak in the back door there. I guess there's some positioning that can switch based on results, obviously, but nothing too crazy on the AFC side from that standpoint. So that is the setup as we close the chapter that was Week 18. Let's take a break. When we get back, we'll do a quick bit of news. But before we take that break, just a quick update. How about this? A little program update? No, how about a little operational update from Heed the Call?
Not? Yeah.
Give me that operational update celebration horn. Don't know if that's appropriate for this. It's an operational update. Stupid. Doesn't match at all.
I like that we've hired out a 14th century European castle to play our anthems and chimes.
Yes. You know that heedthecallpodcast.com is your home for exclusive merchandise. We launched that earlier this month or late last month. We've gotten some feedback. Hey, I put in an order. When should we be expecting it? We got an update. As you know, this is the maiden voyage for merch, and we're working with a company on this as they got the pre-orders, and then they had to, have the actual product made as we're getting this thing off the ground. We have since gotten an update, Mark. What?
Well, as we speak, the update suggests that stuff is being shipped now. So it's going to arrive to you in person very soon, and we're very excited about that.
Yes, the mugs have started to ship. The pint glasses have started to ship. Some shirts have begun to ship. So we look forward to you guys getting your merch and showing it off on social media. And as we begin that exciting chapter on the operational side of things. So that's the update there. So keep an eye out on your mailbox because Heed the Call merch is headed your way. Let's take a break, and when we get back, some news. All right, we are back. Okay, let's hit a couple of news items coming out of Sunday.
Performing live coming up next during halftime when the Vikings take on the Lions at 4:30 Eastern Time. A Christmas faux shizzle my nizzle. Okay. All right.
Dumb.
Shizzle my nizzle. I kind of feel like 5 years ago, Iron Eagle might have lost his job for that. So maybe we're like having a little progress as a nation. Everybody's like not so panicked about things at all times now. We're just having fun out here.
We're making progress in some ways as a nation, and that would be one of the ways.
Faux shizzle. All right, let's get into it. A few things here. Two, three things. I mentioned the Broncos caught a break. They did. It's a big one because Jim Harbaugh, coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, has decided, following the Bolts' Saturday loss to the Texans, which took them out of the running for the division, he's going to take it easy in Week 18. He's going to start gearing up for the playoffs, and it could mean that they get beat by the Broncos in Week 18 as a result, and it might change his opponent, but he's not worried about any of that. He wants to be as healthy as possible, especially his star quarterback, Justin Herbert, who's been playing with a broken, surgically repaired hand. So Herbert will not play on Sunday against the Broncos, a massive, massive boost for Denver's hopes to hold off New England and Jacksonville as the 1 seed. Here was Jim Harbaugh explaining his reasoning.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, the thing, winning and health, being healthy, those are our two objectives. And yeah, guys that we think, the doctors, the trainers, myself, the organization, that have the most bruises, and need that time the most, or we've decided that's the direction we're going.
And a follow-up question by a reporter who was fearless, even though Jim Harbaugh is slightly terrifying, at least to me. Wait a second, Jim. You trying to manipulate the playoff matchups? Is there a team you're hunting for maybe to get in the wild card round?
Health and winning, that's it. Yeah, there's no way to predict. We're going on the road, first round. All potential teams would be good, and we'll get ourselves ready for that.
Well, okay, but I'm just doing some quick math in my head. I know, as I'm picturing the seeding here, it's going to be some combination of the Patriots potentially. Let's say the Broncos take care of business now. The Patriots, the Jaguars, and the Steelers/Ravens. I feel like that's the team I would want in the first round.
Well, the one that, if you really wanted to go for it, there's a world where the Chargers could beat Denver, and they did beat them in Week 3. And with a few things happening, secure the 5th seed, which would pit you against the Steelers or Ravens. So that's the team everyone would want to play. He's simply going for which is sort of a Sean McVay approach. We talked about it on Sunday. Like, I don't care who we play. I want to be the best we can be. I want to be healthy. And they do have some health issues, but I don't know if those are going to get solved with 1 week of resting any of these guys.
I see where he's coming from. I'd probably do the same thing. Once the division's gone, it becomes a situation where, okay, what's the best version of the team? And Trey
remember,
Lance,
he wasn't there, but remember when this team lost Mike Williams in the finale and then got their butts squelched in the playoffs? Like, I kind of get let's go in the best we can be, but that's your purview. That's your choice.
I hear that. Trey Lance will get the start against that Denver pass rush. Good luck, young man. In other news, we mentioned the Ravens. Steelers will be playing for the AFC North title on Sunday Night Football. Still unclear if Lamar Jackson will be ready. As usual, it's a little bit, you try to parse things and parse comments about Lamar and the status of his health, whether it's a physical injury or an illness. Remember, this was a contusion in his back, as I understand it, suffered in Week 16. He didn't play in Week 17, and they still won. And then paired with the Steelers' loss to the Browns, now we're set up for this big game. But Harbaugh is not saying that Lamar will be ready for Week 18 either necessarily. And I just thought some of his wording here was interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's to be determined. Still he's coming off a very serious injury, and he's working at it. Saw him in here today working at it. So I think we'll know a lot more on Wednesday. If Lamar's ready to go, he's playing. That's it.
Yeah, I think what I mean by that, Mark, is the coach feeling almost inclined to say this is a very serious injury, which maybe isn't how it's been reported or how it seemed in the moment, but providing a little bit of cover, I guess, for your quarterback. And people are wondering why he's not playing or might not play with the season on the line on Sunday night.
You can say Lamar, like he's got illnesses all the time. Like there's been a lot of late season absences in key spots for the Ravens over the last 4 years or whatever. And I think it raises conversation. We've had those conversations. So I guess you're looking out for your player, but I also, if he's got a legit back issue, and Troy Aikman mentioned this tonight about a different player, like you just simply can't perform on the field the way you'd want to. And so it's like, if that's the case, that's the case. But there's also stories out there today from Mike Sando of The Athletic, who is a very good reporter, about the fact that he spoke to NFL executives who talked about the fact that the biggest tectonic shift this offseason, that the Lamar Jackson won't be on the Ravens after this season. So a lot's happening. I don't know what, I think is there some political stuff along with health stuff? In this moment, no matter what, you'd like to think Lamar Jackson would play no matter what. No matter what, you want to see him on there. I feel like you mentioned that on Thursday. It's like, get out there no matter what. Other guys are doing that, right?
Yeah, and I have to do a little digging on what that reporting is out there. I don't imagine a scenario where the Ravens are better off as a team with Lamar Jackson playing anywhere else but Baltimore. But there's also been, whispers of a potential rift between Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. And is even John Harbaugh's job safe if the game goes against him? There's a lot on the line. One thing we do know, if Jackson doesn't play, Tyler Huntley will be back in there. And he's won both of his starts this season, beating 2 playoff teams in the Bears and the Packers. So good teams tend to have good backup plans, especially at the game's most important position. And the Ravens are no different. In other news, I thought this was a little interesting. Jordan Mailata, the great tackle of the Philadelphia Eagles, after the Eagles escaped with that 13-12 win in Orchard Park, after the final 2-point conversion by Josh Allen fell incomplete, Mailata had this to say about what potentially served as a difference-making element of that win for Philadelphia.
You can see the body language of the Bills, hands on hips, just breathing heavy. You can see the fog. Our guys, man, I think we're better conditioned. I'll be really honest. I thought our guys were really better conditioned, especially when they blew that timeout and you saw 3 of the Bills guys on their knees. We were more than confident that our boys were going to get the job done.
I mean, my only thought about this quote, and Mailata's a good dude, so I'm not saying like this is him being out of line, but we could talk about how great the conditioning was of the Eagles, but the Bills scored 2 touchdowns in the last half of the fourth quarter, including in the final seconds of regulation. And if Josh Allen doesn't yank that throw, the Eagles lose the game. So like maybe bragging about how superior conditioning is not really the move here, and maybe just count your blessings that you escaped with a win that you probably should have gotten beat on the last play of the game. I mean, this is some of the micro stuff with the Eagles that drives me crazy. I mean, while we're here, we had more Nick Sirianni jackassery as he was coming down the tunnel toward the locker room after the win. Can you play this, Justin?
Not so much anymore. Love this shit.
What a goon. And can we get a replay? Look at A.J. Brown's face. He looks at him like, my coach is an asshole.
Well, no one around him. I think the biggest tell there is that even
my coach.
even like the ref guys and the lines marksmen and other just civilians, no one is responding to this bravado.
Well, it's so unusual. And go ahead, Eagles fans. Like, come after me about how Sirianni and the Eagles live rent-free in my head. Go ahead. But I've also been covering this league for 15 years now and knowing when something's out of place. And that guy is out of place, and seeing the way he operates and how he conducts himself. And you see it not even just with A.J. Brown, all these other people coming off the field after a hard-fought game in miserable conditions, a great road win, and everybody's just decompressing, and you have this guy running his mouth like he's like a rec league basketball player in South Philly, and it's like, I guess it's endearing, and maybe if it was my head coach, I would like it, but I actually think it's very cringy, and that look on A.J. Brown's face, I think it's one of those things, Sessler. It's like, it's telling. And I know nobody else is, maybe you don't make a big deal about it, but the way he operates there and then A.J. Brown's face really, to me, tells the story of a guy that's, I can't wait till it all tumbles down. I can't wait.
I know you can't. And I see where you're coming from in terms of, like I mentioned, that he's walking up that tunnel and it's like no person, teammate or player or coach or, field worker is turning their head to deal with the guy. So I get that. And I think that you're right. He's a bit frat boyish. I've never been a huge frat boy person in general in life. I see all that, but I've been working in this thing for 15 plus years too. And like the results speak for themselves. And if we don't want to give him credit for the results, that's one thing. We are talking about the player that he probably is at most publicly at odds with. And A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown he's a bit of a weirdo too this season, right? Like maybe they both are. The whole team might be weirdos, but I am not having a big problem with the coach when they keep winning the way they're winning. And I'm not saying, if you were the Jets coach, you'd be fine with it, but like Rex Ryan was a mouthy guy. Mike Ditka was a mouthy guy. We've had these guys our whole lives in football, and I think certain people are going to respond to them, and certain fans are, and certain people are not. And you and Sirianni,
but no, it's not me and Sirianni. Sirianni doesn't even know who I am.
It is though. I know it's not you and him, but it is something about him though.
There's something about Sirianni that I don't know, like why we have to defend him. Why is this guy somehow get credited like you could act like a goober because the team wins? And it's like more to my point, like what Jordan Mailata said, who's a guy I actually respect, and then Sirianni saying, not talking so much anymore or whatever. It's like, dude, shut up. You're very fortunate that you won that game and that he acted like he went in there and they won 38-3. I don't know, man. I know I'm not alone. I might be alone on this conversation right now.
You're not alone, but it's like, I think he's overtly annoying to a certain, people are going to react a certain way. I get it. And he's not my type of dude. But not to
you so much. That's interesting to me, but not to you so much.
It's because
absolutely. I'm triggered by him.
I think it's interesting. I think a deeper psychological examination of why he piques you the way he does would be intriguing. He's not my type, but he doesn't stick in my mind. And I think he's just a football dude. Like these guys are all over the league. They're all over the league. We've been to combines. You see these guys out drinking together, 8 of them at a table, and they're wild. I mean, like,
come on,
right?
Join me, Mark. Just call him for what he is.
I will say one thing about the Mailata thing. Like, the Bills had an 11-play touchdown drive and a 13-play touchdown drive to close that game. So I don't know what the conditioning looked like, but terrible weather. Like, that's a 24 plays and you scored 2 touchdowns. Like, the Bills don't come off as like, oh, wow, they quit that game and they fell apart, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a strange comment because I think Mailata is one of the smarter guys, but it's like, what's the condition? I mean, he
maybe
sees
Nick
things we're not
Sirianni
seeing,
is just rubbing off on everyone in that locker room now.
Oh, yes.
And even more so, we need one of these great titans of the NFC to step up and end this reign of terror once and for all.
You're going to get your way.
We'll see. I mean, they're playing pretty damn good overall. I'm just saying, like, that was winning. A fortunate ending of that game.
Yes.
But not based on what you heard from those two men. All right. Is that it? That's all we got for that. All right. Let's take a break. And when we get back, you know what time it is. Power Rankings time.
Unless you've got power!
Farbuck.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Bigger powers, yeah! Then when you get the money, you get the power.
Category orange incident.
The power behind the
the power.
Now you're playing with power.
According to Dan Hanzus power ranking.
Thank you, Paul Rudd. Yes, the official power rankings of record. Heat in that call. And this is the end of the Yellow Book Road coming up here, Sessler. We got this week we're going to do. We'll do one in some capacity next week on the eve of the playoffs. And then that's it for the power rankings until next September. Part of it, I'm feeling wistful already for a pass that's almost here.
I am too. I question why the NFL or sports in general continue on with the playoff format or playoff games when we've already told you within a week how this ranks out, right? I mean, what are they going to go do that we already don't know?
Right. So you're saying essentially whoever finishes atop the power rankings at the end of the regular season next week, that should just give them the trophy.
Yes.
Send them to Cancun.
Yes.
And everybody start their winner. Okay.
Yes.
I'm kind of into that. I don't know if everybody would be into that, but it would certainly, on the subject of power, it would feel like we would have a almost unspeakable level of power to
it would
be able
lift
to
our
dictate
status,
the champions.
which is really all we're attempting to do.
All right. Smash cut to Shedeur Sanders lifting the Lombardi Trophy.
Or us being assassinated by secret gunmen for taking out 6 weeks of playoff games, but yeah.
All right, here we go. No, the NFL would have no problem with money coming out of their pockets, Mark. Come on, they're just about sport. That's what it's
you're
really
right.
about.
They're altruistic.
All right, let's get into it. We'll start with Tier 1. This is the Tier 1 where we are very, very confident that the Super Bowl winner resides, okay? Super Bowl's in here somewhere, Tier 1. It is the Seattle Seahawks that have now climbed the summit with a little help from a surprising Rams slide. They're up one spot, the Seahawks, to number 1 in the rankings. We're all there now, except for Connor.
We have him at 2, but
Connor has him at 2. Number 2 in the rankings, the Los Angeles Rams. I had dropped him an extra spot, as had Sessler, and Connor had kept the Rams at 1 despite these 2 losses. Shout out to Connor, who's just digging those heels in.
They lose to the Atlanta Falcons and move to the number 1 spot.
Well, he kept them there, personally.
I don't hate that, actually, right? I mean,
Yeah, I do hate it. I feel like at the very least, you lose 2 games in a row and fall out of the division race. You probably have to forfeit the top spot of the power rankings, but that's his call. But in terms of our group settings, the Seahawks 1, the Rams 2. It is the Niners now up 3 spots to number 3. This is a big jump, and if you look at it, it is fairly remarkable that the top 3 teams in our power rankings, the power rankings of record, are the top 3 teams in the NFC West division. How about that, Cessy?
It speaks to the greatest division I've watched in like 25 years. And you and I are in lockstep here exactly with these 3 teams. But I think also it's some of these other AFC
slow down. Did you just say this is the best division of the last 25 years? All right, let's see your top 5 divisions of the last 25 years. Go.
I got a couple AFC North operations. I would say some maybe other NFC West, but this just stands out. I don't.
It's I joke, I kid. It's simply a great division. The NFC North last year obviously had 3 teams that had a butt ton of wins, but when you look at these 3 teams specifically.
Any of them could win the Super Bowl and I wouldn't blink.
Yep. All right. Number 4, it's the first AFC team. We're going to get now a run of 3 AFC teams in our power rankings. The Patriots are up 1 spot after dismantling the Jets at the Meadowlands. I saw this as a fact, and I'm not dwelling on it because, like I said, I respect the Patriots. What they did, getting that comeback win in Baltimore after the Buffalo loss was impressive to me. But did you know, little fun fact, that the New York Giants have more wins against teams above 500 this season than the Patriots, 2-1.
I saw that out on the X landscapes.
Those are just facts. Again, facts.
It is a fact. It's not that they're losing to teams of that nature. They're just not playing that many.
They're not losing much at all, right?
Yeah.
But they beat the Bills their first meeting, and other than that, the 11 wins have been against, obviously, non-winning teams, and that's just the nature of their schedule. And they will stop playing losing teams after next week.
That's why they're a fascinating playoff team, because it's like you're not that whole business is out the window.
And they'll be ready to go because they have an MVP level quarterback, and they have a coach who's been battle tested, and a team that, to the Patriots' credit, as much as I wish this wasn't the case, they do remind me a lot of those Belichick teams where every guy knows exactly what he's supposed to do, and they're all moving in the same direction. So I feel like they're a team that can, even if they get bounced out of this playoffs, they won't get bombed out of the playoffs. It would be a close game that and they could go on a run. Absolutely.
Well, and in that second Buffalo game, I mean, yeah, I understand what happened down the stretch, but they were dominant early. Justin noted that Drake May has shot into the heavy favorite territory for MVP as well tonight.
Yes, he is up to now minus 400, while Stafford has dropped to plus 300. And our friend Aaron Schatz tweeted earlier today, the Patriots' schedule now is the third easiest by DVOA standards ever.
Ever.
And the two teams who had easier schedules, the 91 Bills and the 99 Rams, both went to the Super Bowl.
There you go. You can only play your schedule. It's been a titanically easy schedule, but they have thrived this season. And like I said, after they get the Dolphins on Sunday, they won't play another losing team as long as they're in the postseason, unless they meet the NFC South champion in the Super Bowl. But that would be pretty crazy. Anyway, number 5 is the Jaguars. They win, take care of their business, but they're down one spot. Wouldn't read too much into that. Gravy, you have them all the way up at 2, which is. Wait, does this have anything to do with your wager with Connor?
Oh,
no,
Justin?
Of course it does.
Of course not. If I was really trying to do something like that, I wouldn't have the Niners at 4. I'd have the Niners at 14 or something crazy. I believe in the Jags, and I'm rewarding them for being the hottest team in football, with maybe one exception. They've won 7 straight. The Texans have won 8 straight. But they just have met every single challenge. They've won every
Where did you have them last
game.
week? I'm just curious. Where did you have them last week?
I had them at 4 last week.
Okay.
All
right, we're just checking. We're just doing some checks and balances because you have a wager.
I had them at 3 last week.
Okay. All right, we're just checking in. That's just a check-in. That's what you call a check-in.
Yeah, I have integrity. Thank you.
Better than the Rams or Niners. Okay.
Well, just, they get rewarded for playing great ball for a long time.
Say no more. They're at number 5. They're down one spot. The Broncos, and I know Broncos fans are going to have an issue with this. The Broncos, they win against a Chargers team resting Justin Herbert. They're the number 1 seed in the AFC, and yet here they are parked at number 6. At least they're up 2 spots, so you could look at it from that standpoint that they're moving upward on our charts. But yes, maybe a little bit of hesitation. I don't know. It's the combination, because I had them at 7 in my personal rankings, number 6 for the group.
Justin at 9.
I like this Broncos team a lot, and I think that they are. They've also played a very easy schedule, by the way. Not as easy as the Patriots, but an easy schedule. We know they've played a lot of close games, including this past week. Not overly impressive. I was spooked. I have to say, I was legitimately spooked by that Jaguars loss. That it was in their building, that it was such a kind of one-sided defeat. I know that ended, like a 10 or 11 game winning streak, so you can't ding them too hard. But I don't think I'm alone on this, because I know, Mark, you're not the biggest Bronco guy either. That you don't have to squint too hard to see a similar outcome occurring at Mile High in January. I don't know. I'm giving them respect, keeping them in tier 1, but I don't know, man. It's just something that's stopping me from putting them in the big boy group ahead of them.
I'm with you. I point to Justin having them at 9. I think that's not that unfair. I have them at 6, which is where they're ranked by the group overall. They don't blow me away. They just don't blow me away. Do I think they could probably go and etch out a win against the rest of these AFC teams? Yep. But do they change the way that I feel about the AFC in terms of like going to the Super Bowl and beating one of these NFC teams? Nope.
To me, it's their inability to also give you 4 consistent quarters. And I'll use their most recent game with the Chiefs starting their 3rd string quarterback. They're losing at halftime. I mean, they're getting beat 7-6 at halftime. Now, to their credit, they pulled it together. They scored the late touchdown and got the win. But there's no reason that a game should be that close when the stakes are that high for the Broncos. And yet they just seem to be chemically addicted almost to playing football in this style. And I just wonder if it's going to get them got in a few weeks.
I had them at 9 last week, which is where I dropped them after they lost to the Jags. And then, like, what they did on Christmas, that didn't say move me up the rankings, but it didn't say move me down either. They won the game.
And yet, if you're a Broncos fan, I totally get why you would be, like, unhappy with the HTC power rankings. I get it. Number 7 is the Chicago Bears, who, I feel like with the Bears, they're another weird one. It's the games that they lose where I'm kind of more impressed by them than the games they win. So they come achingly close to pulling off a beautiful Sunday Night Football win, but they don't get in the end zone, obviously, in the last play of the game. But once again, prove that they have the ability to beat anybody, especially when their offense is having a day like they had at the Big Bell Bottom. So they are down 1 spot, but firmly in Tier 1 at number 7, and that leaves one more spot, Tier 1, for the Houston Texans, up 1 spot. Sessler, you had them almost inexplicably at, 13 last week?
Oh, well, I have them at
12.
10.
12 last week. You begrudgingly, all they do is they go to Los Angeles and knock off the Chargers, a team that we all were blubbering, falling over ourselves. And I thought maybe you would do a course correction and own up, but instead you stick them at number 10. They're not even in your personal Tier 1. How say you?
I totally feel comfortable with that. Like, I spend a lot of time looking at where I put these teams, and I just simply think that one conference is much higher up on my list than the other. I think the Texans, though, like the Bears, I just need to see a little bit more. I think the Texans could beat any team on the right day, but I don't think the right day is every day for them. And I'm fine with them at 10. 10 still says they are the 4th best team in the AFC and could go on a run in the AFC. It's just that I am NFC top heavy.
I'll just say this, Mark. You could say you just don't think they're going to win every day. They're on an 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, but half these teams have won like 10, like the Patriots and Jaguars have pulled off, and the Broncos.
I'm just saying,
similar
like, this
stunts,
isn't a team that's been, we win sometimes, then we drop a stinker in there. They started 0-3 when things were kind of seemed like they were falling apart for them right at the start of the season, and since then they have been absolutely dominant, winning 11 of 13 games, including 8 in a row. I think it's worthy of Tier 1 across the board, but
I am the outlier here, and I will not be traveling to Houston for a weekend vacation anytime soon. But let's see where I wind up. I am confident with what I've done here.
All right, let's go to Tier 2, which is the Tier 2, which we call good is the enemy of great. Okay, and leading off Tier 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I had them at 8. Mark had them at 8. Connor had them at 9. Justin had them at 7. They're up 1 spot in our rankings. I think this is a perfect spot for the Eagles, and I understand, like, where an Eagles fan was like, what do we have to do to get into Tier 1? You guys had you had the Bills high. We go to Buffalo, we beat the Bills. It's just the same thing, and that's why the season is so interesting and strange, that the Eagles, even with that great defensive effort, at least the first 3.5 quarters against the Bills, it is the inability of that team to put it together most weeks, and the offense having, 10 yards in the second half, that again makes me hesitant to say, okay, they're back. This is the Eagles from last year. I see them as a dangerous team in the NFC. They can get hot and go on a run, but I'm okay with putting them where we have them, which is just outside Tier 1.
Well, yeah, we seem to be in lockstep here. I think we're frustrated by them. They're probably more going to win through their defense in the playoffs. And But I had them higher than the Texans, for instance. Like, I think they just keep winning, and it's not fun to watch, but they keep pulling it off.
At number 10, we have the Bills. That's a 7-spot drop. Is that the biggest drop of the week?
Yeah, by far. And the Niners moving up 4 was the biggest jump of the week. Mm-hmm.
And we're almost in lockstep here as well. Mark, you had them at 9. The rest of us all had the Bills at 10. And for me, and I won't dwell on this because we hit it when we talked about the Bills on the Sunday night show, but at a certain point, you see too many of those type of losses. Those like, oh man, they had it and they couldn't pull it off. And oh, what a heartbreaker. And this isn't just even this season. It's over multiple seasons in the Josh Allen era. And I just get the feeling that they are, yes, good is the enemy of great. I think they're very good, but I think they might not just have that gene to ever get on the run that you need. If we're talking about who's going to hoist the Lombardi, I feel like the Bills are a really good team, but not quite great. And a top 10 team for us, but not a champion.
There's an action figure of Josh Allen and Sean McDermott just looking sad on the sideline. That goes with like a Bills play set with some snow falling. Like that's
exactly as they close out Old Rich Stadium this weekend. All right, the number 11 team for us is the Chargers. We're pretty much in lockstep on that, and that makes sense. The Packers are a little bit of a tougher team to figure out, but again, we fall off a cliff in terms of real Super Bowl contenders after the Packers. And maybe that's beautiful because number 13 is our Twilight Zone team, which is a team you don't know what to do with. You could have put the Steelers here. You could have put the Ravens here. That's it. Those are the only two teams I would accept in this exercise. And here they are. The Steelers are at 13. The Ravens are at 14, battling for the last playoff spot in the AFC. Then the Lions at 15, who are dead and buried. So if the Lions, who are already dead and buried and have lost 3 straight, are the 15th team in the league, Mark, that pretty clearly tells you, and with the number 16 Panthers right behind them, that we're about to hit a steep drop-off in terms of team talent level, and this conversation in general is we're going to be able to zoom through the rest of the rankings.
Yeah, this is when you get kicked out of the airplane. But I do find it interesting because I don't think it's groupthink. It is very clear that there's a sea change at a certain point here. But to look at all our rankings, like we're in lockstep on a lot of these. But after Pittsburgh and Baltimore, bye-bye.
Yeah, so like I said, of those NFC South teams, who could all potentially finish 8-9 after action wraps last week, we do have the Panthers highest. Let's see where everyone else is in that division as we move to Tier 3, which is a darker place, the infinite abyss. We have the Vikings, who have closed strong, obviously 3 straight wins now, 8-8. They're at 17. We have the Cowboys, who are playing out the string at 18. They stay where they are. The Bengals finishing strong as we expected them to. Interesting. Justin and I have them at 16. Yeah, because I feel like they're the best of the bad teams at this point, and or very close to it. And Justin and I are both in that boat, but you and Connor are both in the boat of that they are the 10 worst teams in the league. I just don't see them that way at all.
We're soon in a different boat that actually has Pirates on it. So
yeah, I think with the Bengals, there's and I know Sessler, you have it. There's an exhaustion with the Bengals that, like, why do we even have to talk about that? It's the same shit over and over every year. And I get it.
Yeah.
I think almost their penalty, they're like in the Satan's like punishment division downstairs in hell. It's like you'll always be number 16 and the best team that's not in the mix for the playoffs. Like that seems to be where they are in the league right now. We have the Bucks. I don't know, man. They're 20 as a groupthink. I have them at 23, which I thought felt right. I knew you would have them too high. You always have the Bucks too high at 17.
It's not just I.
Connor has them at 16. I have no idea how you guys could watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the past 6 weeks and say they're in the top half of the league. I know you have them just on the other half, but this has been one of the worst teams in football. You could make a case for them being in Tier 4 based on not like how much we like Baker, or how good they could be if they were healthy, or if this can happen or that could happen or whatever. Just who they are and who they've been. They are absolutely a bottom 10 team in the league right now, and I'm shocked that's not where you have them.
No, the narrative around them is not a positive one, but you've
not
got
just narrative, results, Mark. This
sure,
is a
but
team
you've got
that loses
the Cowboys,
almost every
Vikings.
week.
You've got the Cowboys, Vikings, and Bengals above them, obviously.
Better teams.
It's vastly disappointing teams and seasons. Like, I think we're in an area where, like, each of these, they're all soiled. 17 might be rich for your blood, but I don't think 17 is telling you they're not even a playoff team if they're 17. And I don't think they're going to be.
I just think they have fallen off a cliff, and I just don't expect them to get off the mat. Now, watch, in this strange season, they'll ball out in week 18, and then we'll have another week to watch them in the playoffs. But I don't know. Just based on where they are right now, I think they stink. The Falcons are up one spot. Maybe you could have made a case the Falcons should be higher than that based on where they are, but I guess you could blame that on Connor, who has them buried at 25 after knocking off the Rams at home. Wait a second.
When does Connor file these?
All right. Okay. This is going to get Farbick fired up. How can Connor keep the Rams at 1? Okay, keep the Rams at 1. You sincerely believe in the Rams.
Farbick.
But then not reward the team that beat the Rams, the number 1 team in football, to bury them at 25. That just doesn't check out.
Well, he's got some wild stuff coming up that might explain that.
Okay. All right. We got the Saints at 22, up 1 spot. The Dolphins at 23, up 1 spot. The Colts down to 24, down 3 spots. And now we head to tier 4, which is, of course, the shit pit.
Connor, by the way, the Dolphins at 19 and the Falcons at 25. So that's where the thinking is.
All right, so Connor got off his Kansas City or Topeka Chiefs kick, and that allowed the Chiefs to stay at 25. We're all though in this.
He did file them to me as the Junction City Chiefs, but that's
okay. But we're all in a similar place on the Chiefs. They're at 25. The Browns up 3 spots after knocking off the Steelers. Congratulations, Ceci. The Commanders down 1 spot to 27. The Titans don't move. Come on. Well, they still lost. Even when they play well, they still lose. They're at 28. The Cardinals down 2 spots at 29. The Giants stay at 30. The Jets stay at 31. Ooh, Connect 4.
Couple Connect 4.
And the Raiders stay at 32. Connect 4. I don't know why you don't like that drop. I like the way it sounds, Mark.
Why I don't like it?
It's a little dance in my head. I enjoy it.
It doesn't remind me of Connect 4. It feels like a computerized like bowling game or something. So,
but
I struggle with it.
I hear it. It's when you pull the tab at the bottom after you get the Connect 4, and then all the chips.
One more time. I'll reevaluate. Yeah. All right. I mean, I'll play ball, but I mean, it's not. It doesn't make me. I played Connect 4 like 450,000 times.
What does Connect 4 sound like to you when you pull the tab?
It's loud and noisome. It's coming out of wood, by the way. You pull the thing and it's like
wood,
or just like a. If you play the huge ones, but if you play the other one, it's just
they
plastic
stopped making Connect 4 out of wood in like 1948.
Well, no, but the home version is plastic, but it's still like it just like lands on tile.
Mark had the prototype for Connect 4 for his first Christmas.
that 4 didn't exist back then. It was just Connect 2. So please,
all right.
Please.
Good app. All right, that's it. We'll be back on Wednesday. Again, end of the year. We got New Year's holiday coming up here. We'll be back on Wednesday with a preview of week 18 in the NFL. And then on Sunday, we'll be back again, recapping everything. Black Monday after that. I mean, there's so much coming up, as you know. So thank you for your support. Thank you for heeding that call, and know that if you have merch is on its way. And now Mark will share a final note before we say goodbye.
My final note is that we've been on a journey together, but it's just getting started, because here is where the fire comes. Heed that call.
Till next time, heed the call.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Insurance. Financial services. Now when I say Nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide. Is both. Nationwide. Is both. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.